everyone, I'm Benjamin Allen. Welcome to episode 1 of Keeping Tabs on the Track, where we cover news on all things track and field and running related. Today's stories include the 2022 USATF Cross Country Championships that happened this past weekend in San Diego, California, the Road 5K world records that were broken, the Hakone Ekiden, and more. Let's get into it. Starting us off in the 2022 season, we just had the Cross Country Championships that was held in San Diego, California. The championships consisted of 6 separate races where more than $18,000 was given to the USATF championship winners. Alicia Monson from On Athletics took the win of the women's 10K race, running a 34:01. She was followed by Wayne Kalade with a time of 34:18. In third place, we had Emily Durgan running a 34:50. This was her first race since leaving the Bowerman Track Club. Alicia Monson had a breakout season with her first year of On Athletics Club. She finished third at the U.S. Olympic Trials in the 10K distance. She went on to the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games and finished 13th. One thing to note is this was her first season as a pro and a part of On Athletics. In the men's race, it came down to the wire in a final sprint between Dylan Maggard, Sam Chalenga, and Katir Kipchirchir. Kipchirchir was the first across the line in 30:32. He was followed by Dylan Maggard with a time of 30:34. To round out the podium, Sam Chalenga finished third in a time of 30:37. This race meant a lot to Kipchirchir because he suffered an injury right before the Olympic trials, so he wasn't able to compete. Now that he's healthy and fit, I'm excited to see what he can do for the rest of the season. Next, we take a look at the 5K world records that were broken at the Cursa dels Nassos event in Barcelona, Spain on December 31st. First, we had Berhu Aragai, who bested Joshua Jeptegei's time of 12:51, running a 12:49, and he's only 20 years old. The nearest competitor was 41 seconds behind him. Aragai finished 4th in the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games in the 10K distance, and he also won this year's Diamond League final in the 10K. On the women's side, also from Ethiopia, we had Ehu Gehatua Te. She covered the 5K distance in 14:19, which breaks the mixed race record in nearly half a minute. The record was previously held by Beatrice Chepkoech in Monaco. So the only question is, how much faster can these athletes go? Speaking of road races, the Hakone Ekiden took place this last weekend. It can be considered one of the greatest races in the world. This race is one of Japan's most watched event, amounting to a little less than 50 million people. The Hakone Ekiden is a 2-day university race held on January 2nd and January 3rd each year. This race has been going on over 100 years. Each team is consisted of 10 runners. Each runner must run their distance and pass the sash off to the next runner. Multiple Japanese universities battle it out in a marathon relay race, which amounts to a little less than 200K over the 2 days. This year, Aoyama Gakuen University won the race in a record of 10 hours, 43 minutes, and 42 seconds. Each athlete ran about 4:45 pace, along some steep hills as well. Although each athlete is covering a different distance, each runner is running approximately a half marathon. Holding this kind of event in the US may sound a little odd, but I'd be curious to know how some of the best Division I teams will stack up against some of these Japanese teams. So back to the track. Nick Willis attempted to break 4 for his 20th consecutive year. Unfortunately, he fell short by running 4 minutes .22 at the Midnight Mile. Nick Willis is a 38-year-old and has been breaking 4 since 2002 when he was 19 years old. The fact that Nick Willis has been able to break 4 for that long, it shows his consistency in training and his ability to stay healthy. He currently holds the record at 19 years. I'm pretty sure down the road he will break that record and extend it to 21. It's just a matter of when. I highly recommend to watch the mini documentary of this race by Tracksmith. I will link it in this video, so check it out. In other news, Annie Frisbee and Dakota Lindrum of Minnesota Distance Elite signed their first professional contract with Puma. Annie Frisbee ran a 2:26 at the New York City Marathon. She was the 3rd American finisher and 7th overall finisher. This was her first and only marathon. Annie ran the 4th fastest debut marathon and the 4th fastest time ever on the New York course for a U.S. woman. Dakota Lindrum is also quite the athlete. She won the Grammys Marathon this past year in Duluth with a time of 2:29. She also took 3rd place at the U.S. Half Marathon Championships. Puma is definitely a brand to look out for in terms of U.S. American marathoners. I'm excited to see who else they add and as it becomes more established. That's all I got for now. I hope you enjoyed my first episode of Keeping Tabs on all things track. Join me next week for another episode to stay up to date on all news in the track and field world. For now, run fast and turn left.